Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we are back at the big job. It's just me and Kian this morning because the rest of the lads are going off to sort another job out. Today's jobs is we've got to finish this mains trench back down to there, so we haven't got that much left to do on that. And then there's Kian lot, good lad. Then there's a trench behind Kian's head there that's going up because the mains is actually going into, there's 2 metre boxes going in down that side. But yeah, so on a lot of my videos I'm spending a lot of time on the digger, and I've not actually shown you, for anyone who's interested, on how to use one of these things. And like I say, I'm not saying that I'm an expert or that I'm better than everyone else and all the rest of it, because I'm not, but they are fairly easy machines to use. But you just have to be really careful with them because they're not very forgiving. So you have to always make sure that you are very, very aware of people who are working around you. Like Kian now, he's in the trench, so you have to make sure that you know where he is at all times. Anyone who's walking around and behind the machine, which they shouldn't be doing anyway, but it happens because the people who got their own jobs to get on with. So yes, we hire all our machines. We have contemplated before buying them, but they're very, very expensive, and we only use them at the start of the job, so the rest of its time is just going to be sat in storage. So it seems a bit stupid for us. Not saying that we wouldn't ever get one, but right now it doesn't seem much point. Because I say the digger, this is the second digger we've had on this site because the first one broke down. So if we owned one, it's another headache for us to fix. And to be fair to Martin at Higher Basin in Eton, because Dave's the manager, he's been furloughed at the minute. Martin, to be fair to him, he did sort it out straight away, give me a much better machine, newer machine. So I'm really happy with this one, and it's not broke yet, so happy days. So just a quick overview, obviously on the diggers. So for anyone who's never drove one or contemplating hiring one, if you're a domestic person who fancies hiring one for the weekend to do the garden or whatever, then yeah, there is, with all different hire companies are slightly different, but I imagine you'd have to pay quite a bit of money to do it that way, because obviously these machines, they need to be insured and all sorts of stuff. So overview on the machine. On here we have, so these controls here do your tracks forward and backwards. Some of the other machines have little tabs on the bottom, so you can drive them with your feet. Not that I ever do that because I can't really get any control over it. So this pedal here, when it's running, usually, if you can see, if I jump down here, so you've got a hydraulic line here. So if you're hiring a hydraulic breaker, that'll go on the end of there, and so that control does that. So that operates the hydraulic attachments as such, whether that's a big massive auger bit or a breaker. We've used the breaker before, they are really, really good, but they are very, very expensive. So other foot control, so that one there does this motion here, so that controls, let me go under here, that controls this ram. So sometimes when it's a tight space and you can't quite get in and you can't move the actual body of the machine, if you use this control here, it just moves the arm, leaves the body of the machine completely static. You use that a lot, we do, because everything's always tight spaces. This one, like I say, it's a new machine, so that control hasn't been used that much because it's actually really stiff, so you're having to really stamp on it. So there are little bits and bobs on this that it's actually quite nice, that so you can tell it's a newer machine as well. Got a quick hitch on it, so that's nice and easy, because so essentially pull the pin out here, push that all the way through the other side. I can do that now because I need to use it, and so you lift that arm up there and that releases the jaw at the front, which is there. And then you can basically drop that down and grab your next one, and then do that obviously in reverse. So let's jump on the machine. So another thing I quite like about this machine, it's got a 12 volt point. So if you spend most of your life in here, like I am at the minute, you can charge a phone or whatever. The other thing that I didn't know, because all diggers have different immobilizers and bits and bobs like on it, but on this one, if you've got the arm down, it won't start, which I had to figure out, to be honest, because I forgot to ask Martin when it was, so that was interesting. So this control here does the blade at the back, well, at the front at the minute, it's at the back for me, which is that one there. So that controls your blade. This one here does my revs. They're all pretty much similar. So I was just explaining to Kian, there was a massive excavator that's in the field on the way in, and if you can drive a mini digger like this, essentially the controls are pretty much the same as, you know, whether you're going up the scale, they're pretty much the same sort of layout. So it does make it, you know, much better. So let me start it up and I'll show you the other stuff on here. Lift the arm. So on here, I'll do it on slow-mo. So arm down, so which is that one. You got to make sure that's on the lock position. If you do hire some of the machines, if they're older, they stick, and if it sticks, it's not going to do anything. So don't panic about it. It's just that it's sticking. So on this arm here, so that controls this ram on there, and also the far ram, which does your bucket out like that. Nice bit of flappy wrist action there. So if I try and do it so you can see, so if I'm lifting that back, that's raising the arm forward, obviously it's going down. So if I do it left and right, it opens the bucket up like that. Okay. And this one, it brings, so the ram that's in the center there, this one controls that one, so that goes so forward and backwards on there, and also left and right actually controls the turning of the machine on there. Now, the one thing that people need to remember about these things, that yes, they very powerful. If I spun that round at high revs, I'd smash Kian straight in the head and probably won't come back from that. Now, the key is with machinery, let me turn that off. The key is with machinery is just take it very steady, because they're not, like I say, they're not forgiving, and you don't need to be swinging your arms around like, you know, like some sort of chimpanzee. It's small movements does a massive amount. So quite often I'm just using my fingertips on this, because especially like there where we're digging for the mains and stuff, is that you don't want to be just ragging it about like an absolute Fruit Loop, because something's going to give, and it won't be the machine. So someone's going to get hurt. Like I say, you've just got to respect them. They're good fun, let's face it, they are good fun. Who doesn't want to mess about on a digger? Do you want to mess about on a digger, Kian?
I would.
See, Kian will do. So eventually Kian will be having a go on this, you know, because, you know, it's part of learning, really. You've got to get, because there's no point in him just looking at it. You know, the only way you're going to learn is actually by having a go. Whether or not we get a chance on this one, but I don't see, there's probably enough room and stuff. It's just making sure that you just take your time. Obviously Lewis hasn't even had a go on these actually, so I think Sean was on about letting them have a go on it, just so they get used to it, and then they can understand a bit more about the power and stuff on these things. But yeah, overall, a good bits of kit, essential bits of kit. Whether I'd buy one, I don't know. A lot of big outlay, and we don't do it all the time. So yeah, if you haven't already, I hope this has helped anyway, by the way. Any questions, obviously just let me know. there's hire companies all around the country. If you speak to your local hire company, if you are on about hiring one, they'll advise you whether it's something that you could do, or because quite often that's the other thing is people underestimate the size on these. That's one thing I didn't show you. Now the tracks, that's it, going off and track. So these tracks here, they're at the minute they're in their smallest position. Now you can widen these up so they go, I think the tracks actually just go past the body line on here, and that is on this control. And this machine, because it's got some power in it, I don't have to lift the whole machine up in the air. So by doing that, obviously I'll be pushing the bucket down one end and the blade at the other. This one actually just does it in situ, so which is loads better. But yeah, like I say, there's hire companies all around the country. The one thing that you need to do, if you're thinking, because most people go, oh, it'd be to, you know, do something in the garden, is access. Is because you need to, like this machine is just under a metre wide. Now most garden gates is about 900. So you can get this next digger down is a micro digger. This is 1.5 tons. The micro digger will go down most garden gates, but they're a bit more unstable. We don't like using them, you know, unless we have to, but they are a lot more unstable. The bigger the machine, the better it is, as with everything. So the best thing to do is, if you're looking to hire one, measure down the side of your entrance. You need to be honest with yourself and go with the smallest area, because there's no point going, oh yeah, I can get it through the gate, but then you've got a drain or a downpipe or something, you know, 3/4 of the way down, because you will be wasting a lot of money, I'm gonna be honest, hiring one. But yeah, like I say, if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button in the corner, ring the bell, you'll get notifications every time I put a video up, which I'm smashing them out at the minute. So yeah, I'm going to leave you with that, and hope it's helped. Give us a thumbs up if you like it, because that always helps as well, and I shall see you on the next one. Cheers.